Days and Tiro, good morning. It's 6 a.m. on Wednesday here on Saipan, and I believe it's the afternoon for a delegate in Washington, D.C. So, um, Delegate King-Hinds, first of all, how are you doing over there?
Uh, you know, it's just another day, right, Tomas? Hafadin tiro, everybody. Um, I was really anxious about getting back to Washington, D.C. because of all the work that we have ahead of us to try to, you know, bring some answers to our community with regards to some of these assistance that we've laid out on the table and the communications that we've been having with the federal government. But obviously now with this looming shutdown, uh, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult because everybody's now focused on, trying to get a better understanding of how long the shutdown potentially will be. If there is a shutdown, we'll know in about an hour and a half when the Senate takes up the vote here shortly. And so everything is kind of up in the air right now, Tomas.
And the challenges we're facing locally. What would a shutdown mean for the CNMI government?
Well, as far as the CNMI government is concerned, we do have a lot of agencies who are dependent on federal funding. And so, depending on how long this is going to take, drawdowns may be impacted. Social Security, Medicaid processing may be impacted, just depending, right, on what the situation is. I'm hoping that cooling heads prevail and folks come together sooner rather than later so that we can get back to the business of serving the people. But in as far as the conversation with regards to the economy, a lot of this requires interagency cooperation. And when you do have a federal government shutdown, it means folks are not coming into work, right? And so there are key players that need to come to the table, and we don't know who at this point is exempted in as far as what this shutdown presents. There are people who are going to be exempted. I don't know who those are, but we have ongoing conversations with the Department of Transportation, folks with U.S. Department of Commerce, folks at DOD, and obviously the Interior and the White House. And I was hoping that we could all come together and lay down a strategy with regards to how to address some of these asks. And so, obviously this is going to stall that process until we figure out who is exempted and what is the priority, given the fact that now federal agencies are going to be running on a skeletal crew and are going to likely be focusing on, the president's priorities.
And I know when we talk about timelines and how long a shutdown can last, it's really uncertain, right? The whole point is that people can't agree. So, I mean, but just what you're hearing in the halls of Congress right now, do you think this is going to be a prolonged shutdown if it happens?
Well, this is an interesting one, right? Because historically, it has been the Republicans who have held the line, but this is a situation where the Democrats are the one who have remained steadfast in their position that they want certain policy agendas addressed under this continuing resolution, and I don't think that that's going to happen. And so it's a wait and see. I do know that the Senate is set to entertain the Democrat CR first, and then the Republican CR second, which has already passed in the House. The CR requires 60 votes, right? And I think Republicans have, what is it, 53, and Democrats have 45 members with two independents caucusing. And so you need Democrats to vote for the Republican CR for the CR to pass and to be able to prevent the government shutdown. And, they've drawn lines in the sand, and this is where we're at.
And yesterday, Governor Apatang signed our budget and immediately let it be known that we're going to need a revised one, right? And you're talking about some of the federal movements over there. Did you have any update since that first press conference about the local budget, especially talks with Interior, given 902 is on hold?
Well, that was supposed to be the agenda this week. I arrived on Sunday, and obviously yesterday everybody was kind of focused on what's happening here in the Capitol with regards to the shutdown, and just this flurry of conversations that are being held across the halls of Congress, right? And then you have the big visit from the Prime Minister of Israel yesterday. And then today, the call of that meeting with, the Department of War. And so there's a lot of different moving parts, right? And a lot of different conversations that are being had amidst this shutdown conversation. And it's hard, it's hard to be in front of the queue when you have all these other big national debates and conversations happening. And so, uh, the issue for us is that a lot of our needs require interagency cooperation and advocacy. And when you have these federal agencies, facing a furlough or potentially a rift, it does, add further stress to already stressful situation. And so, I've been getting a lot of phone calls with regards to the mail situation because that's getting more complicated by the day. And then, the H-1B situation, that's getting more complicated by the day. But, how do I get folks on the line at HSI or, folks at USPS when everybody's kind of concerned about this looming potential shutdown and the protocols that are in place to be able to ensure, right, that folks within the agency are prepared. And so, even for us here at the office, right, we have a lot of folks who have scheduled to come and do tours, but I feel really bad about people who've requested for tours because that potentially now will likely it's looking like it's not going to happen. But Tomas, our office will operate business as usual. We will stay open, and we are here to be able to assist the public as much as we can.
All right, Congresswoman, I know a lot can change in the next few hours, so I appreciate this update for our people as they wake up today and as the fiscal year begins. So just wanted to open the floor. Anything else you want your constituents to know?
Uh, you know, I I know that these looks like on certain times and on a personal level, right? When you're coming from the Marianas and you're out here trying to advance our interests, and with the economy being the way it is, it feels like I'm carrying a rucksack with me. And, and then when you have these new issues crop up and arise, it feels like added weight is weight is being added to that rucksack, right? But we are strong, we are resilient, and this too shall pass, but we're just going to have to get through it. And my job is to keep everybody as best informed as possible. And I thank you for reaching out so that we can, keep the public as up to date as possible with regards to what's happening here in Washington, D.C. and our efforts to be able to get our economy to get back on track. And so, buenos dias, Marianas, hafa day, tiro, and, let's have a great day regardless.